Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in Sophomore English. We are in Unit 5, our drama unit, and we are now ready on page 799 to do some independent practice. We've done this, of course, in our previous 4 units. That is to say, we're now challenging you as a student to begin the process of reading at the critical levels. Again, we're going to use the colored boxes. Notice on 799, number 11 has to do with characters, 12 has to do with dialogue. You can flip the page and see the continuation of those boxes. And every one of those boxes, notice there's a question mark there, right? So you want to make sure in your study that you are answering all of those questions as you go through this reading. Let's begin, though, at the top of page 799 about the text we're about to study and listen to. The following excerpt comes from Act 2 of David Henry Hwang's dramatic adaptation of Peter Siss's illustrated book, Tibet Through the Red Box. So write that down. That's the title of your text, Tibet Through the Red Box. And again, this isn't the entire play. This is only a part of the play. My hope is that maybe you'll be drawn to want to know more about this play. The story is set in Czechoslovakia and Tibet between the years 1950-52. During that period, the Soviet Union occupied Czechoslovakia and China, a Soviet rival, invaded Tibet. In Act 1, the Russian government sent Peter's father, Vladimir, from their home in Czechoslovakia to Tibet to make a documentary film about the Chinese invasion. During his father's absence, Peter was injured while making trouble for the Russian troops. As a result, he's been confined to his bed. At the same time, an avalanche has stranded Vladimir in Tibet, keeping him away from his family for more than a year. And of course, we know about Tibet is where Mount Everest is. We read earlier a cutting about Mount Everest to know a little bit about that place and the terrible weather. With the aid of various unusual characters, father and son communicate through messages and dreams. Our characters here will be Peter, who is a boy, Alenka, who is Peter's mother, the boy's spirit, a guiding spirit who assumes many forms, including a cat, and Jingle Bell Boy. Vladimir is Peter's father, a filmmaker. Yeti is the abominable snowman. And then we have ensemble 1 and 2 groups of characters who act as a chorus and serve various functions. We will begin from Act 2. And all we're doing now is just listening and just reading along. Now again, the goal for you is to participate in the activity as best you can, seeing in your mind's eye what in fact is going on. Let's do our best, really concentrate, and let's enjoy this reading.
Tibet Through the Red Box, from Act 2, by David Henry Hwang. Act 2. Lights up on the musical ensemble. They play an up-tempo festival tune like an entr'acte. At a certain point, lights reveal Vladimir passed out on stage, asleep. Beside him, a piece of paper and a pen, as if he'd fallen asleep in the middle of composing a letter. As the ritual music continues, the Jingle Bell Boy enters, crosses to the sleeping Vladimir. He picks up the letter, peruses it. Reaching into Vladimir's knapsack, he locates an envelope, puts the letter into the envelope, and seals it. Starts to leave, then realizes he's forgotten something. From Vladimir's knapsack, the Jingle Bell Boy produces an address book, writes an address on the envelope, then exits. Music buttons abruptly. Vladimir awakens. He realizes the letter is gone. Looks around, baffled. Blackout. In the darkness.
Peter, we received another letter from your father.
Lights reveal Alenka and Peter in bed. She holds the same letter that the Jingle Bell Boy pinched from Vladimir.
All covered with a strange postmark, and these odd little stamps, and characters that can only be Chinese, or maybe Japanese. Peter, he's still alive. I had to run down to the post office to sign for it, and on the way home, of course, I couldn't wait to read it. He's having the most amazing adventures, in a land so strange. Llamas, castles, even an abominable snowman. Here, read it.
I read the last one.
What is wrong with you?
Every time we get a letter, it's like we have a big party. If he really cares about us, how come he's not home yet?
800, page 800.
You are so brave, Peter. The hardest thing of all is not knowing where he is, or whether he's all right. You don't know how strong you are.
Does Father know?
Oh, I bet he does. And when he returns, you'll be all better, running around like your old self.
How can I get better unless he comes home? How much money does Father make?
Why are you... Enough to survive, like everyone else.
How come all of a sudden we can't afford paints?
I make it a priority. What kind of...
Is Father a traitor?
Who says such a...
It doesn't matter.
Do your friends talk like that? The delinquents?
Mother, they're not...
He was sent away by the Russians, but he had no choice.
You said he did.
I never said any such...
Before he left.
Who are you, the secret police? You tell your friends your father loves his country. He's a man of peace. Then send them to me and I'll cuff them on their pointed heads.
Alenka exits, leaving the letter behind. The boy's spirit enters as the cat. Meow! Spreading joy and happiness everywhere?
Want me to pull your tail?
Oh, you got it.
But I'm not gonna read it. That'll show him.
801.
Show him what?
He can't soften me up with, I miss you, I love you. Not when I know the truth about him.
Does that mean you're not even curious about the abominable snowman? The Yeti, an abominable snowman, enters. He is very tall.
Abominable snowman?
The Yeti approaches the boy's spirit, who flees, running around the stage.
Whoever heard of such a stupid...
The Yeti is tall enough to stand eye to eye with Peter in his bed.
Hello there.
Meow, meow, meow.
What the...
Could you help me?
It's the abominable snowman.
Oh my God, where?
Where? You are the abominable snowman.
Snowmen are made of snow. This is fur. I am a Yeti. I'm trying to find a city called Prague, in a country called Czechoslovakia. A boy, about 12 years old, who's stuck in a bed and can't get himself out. You know anyone like that?
You've got to be kidding. Boy? 12? Bed?
Oh, so you're Peter. When he sent me on this mission, I wasn't sure.
He?
I mean, to travel all the way to Europe, and you know, no one will issue me a passport.
Who sent you?
Your father, of course. Haven't you read his letter yet?
Why does everyone keep asking me that?
802.
Not to be boastful or anything, but a lot of it's about me. If you read it, I'll grant you a magical wish.
Anything?
Anything.
All right, sucker. I was crossing a mountain pass when suddenly...
Paper cutouts of snowflakes are projected onto the upstage wall, moving. Musicians enter with percussion, simulating the sounds of a snowstorm. Upstage, Vladimir enters, fighting his way against a blizzard.
A snowstorm took me by surprise. I was looking for shelter, but the winds and snow pushed me to the ground.
Upstage, Vladimir is forced to the ground. He sits in a cross-legged meditation position for the rest of the scene.
I probably lost consciousness, but have some vague memory, like a dream.
Of being lifted up. Hey!
The Yeti mimes lifting Peter as he flies out of his bed.
Lifted up and carried.
Peter flies across the stage, with the Yeti beneath, carrying him. Together, they move offstage.
What are you doing?
Welcome to the land of magic.
Yeti releases Peter. He finds he can stand on his own two legs.
I awoke in a dark cave on a bed of leaves. Beside me was a potion of honey and herbs. I drank this potion, and soon my strength began to return.
The projections of snowflakes become silhouettes of Yetis, moving across the stage.
One day, I finally felt well enough to venture out of my dark cave.
Peter re-enters, carried by the Yeti. Dancers enter in Yeti-like costumes, begin to move through a series of warm-up rituals resembling Tai Chi.
After
803.
my eyes had adjusted to the light, I could see giant fairy beings moving gently in a kind of slow motion throughout the valley.
Yeti starts to put Peter down amidst the dancers.
They seemed to be working, gathering, attending to young ones, playing in the streams and waterfalls. Was this a lost civilization? I did not know. I crawled back into the cave, but this time I managed not to fall asleep. And I saw...
One of the Yetis places food before Vladimir.
Slowly, these gentle giants nursed me to recovery.
The dancers begin to assume the almost martial exercises lamas perform when practicing their theological dialectics.
What are they doing now?
Practicing for battle.
How tough are you guys anyway?
Look at us. We're big, we're strong, and we love to work out.
And you've got big teeth.
With excellent gums.
Okay, I order you to help me fight the Russians. This is going to be a heck of a lot better than stealing their lunches.
Wait a second.
You promised, remember? Want the whole world to learn Yetis are big liars?
Guys, we're being called to battle.
Battle?
We're going to get the Russians.
The who?
I granted the boy a wish.
Oh, great.
It's a long story, but a wish is a wish.
Where are we going?
Prague, Czechoslovakia.
804.
Is the food any good?
Musicians reprise the drum beat which underscored the attack on the Russians in Act 1.
All right, let's go back to when everything went wrong. I threw the rock at the Russian soldier, then he followed me into the dead-end alley.
Ensemble 1, Ensemble 2, and the Yeti crisscross the stage, recalling the sequence in Act 1.
This time, he's in for a surprise.
The boy spirit enters, dressed as a Russian soldier.
And here comes the Ruski.
Niet! Niet!
I climb up the wall. The exit's blocked.
Stop, you stupid kidski!
He sees me.
I say stop!
Only this time, I don't even try to escape.
Niet! We have you cornered!
I just stand there, spitting down at them,
I never again will lose another lunch to you.
doing my little victory dance.
That's disgusting. Calm down, else I shoot.
Suddenly, out of nowhere,
1, 2.
the Yeti cavalry appears.
What?
Yetis rush the boy spirit.
Roar!
Oh my Godski!
He's so scared, he can't even move.
The abominable snowman?
805.
We're Yeti. Why does everyone get that wrong?
Tries to use his gun,
Nice snowman?
but his hands are shaking.
Roar!
Bang! Bangski!
Bullets can't go through our fur.
Mama!
They only make us angrier.
Roar! Roar!
Yetis duplicate their martial exercises, which buffet the soldier without actually touching him.
They close in, clutching their paws around the soldier's throat.
Yetis mime the action as the soldier falls, clutching his throat.
Ah!
He falls to his knees.
Please, please, spare me!
I see fear in his eyes.
You don't understand! I didn't want to come here!
Well, hurry up. Aren't you supposed to, you know,
We're waiting for your command.
me?
After all, this is your wish.
We're waiting. I have wife and a son, just like you.
No, you don't. You're nothing like me. You're a monster.
Actually, we're the monsters here.
Shut up.
To the boy spirit,
I mean, you're not a human being.
In my back pocket,
806.
Not a real one, anyway.
a letter.
You're...
Send it to my son.
Hey, Peter, it's hard to hold this position.
Yeah, so will you make up your mind?
Peter screams in frustration.
All right, let him go.
Yetis release the boy spirit.
Thank you. Thank you for showing mercy.
Get out of here before I change my mind.
I will remember you always.
All of you.
But your wish.
I don't want any wishes. I'm sick of magic, of Tibet, of this whole stupid business.
He flies back into his bed.
Everyone just leave me alone.
All exit.
Peter, I have something to show you.
Alenka enters, carrying a beautifully lacquered red box.
Isn't it beautiful?
Where'd you get this?
I made it with my own 2 hands. You think your old mother can only cook and clean and nag? I thought you might like a box to store your paintings in.
What makes you think I'm painting?
Oh, I know you're not. But maybe you will someday. So I'm giving you this beautiful red box for all the paintings you have never made.
Alenka exits.
Now, this is an interesting cutting, and of course the play itself is a fascinating play. Let's say a couple of things about this play really quickly. Notice at level 1, let's just write that down. This is a simple little cutting in which you have a young boy who is worried about his father's absence, longing for his father to come back, and you've got this kind of imagination action going on, where it's a question of whether the boy can survive the absence of his father psychologically, and to what degree will he be able to survive it. Notice at the very end of the cutting, the mother will let us know that Peter actually is an artist, but he hasn't been doing much painting. Of course, we could argue that he has been doing painting for us, the audience, of course, in the imagination. He's been imagining things going on for his father. And of course, let's put this clearly already at 2B. There's a lot of humor in this as well. You kind of find yourself with these Yetis, especially kind of laughing out loud. They're kind of the idea of the abominable snowman, and a Yeti saying, "I'm not a snowman. Why does everyone keep calling me a snowman?" At 2A, one of the major messages here is clearly the idea that a young person will do almost anything to overcome his sorrow about being displaced from the father that he loves. We will, of course, at 3A, right down in our senior year, we will study Shakespeare's classic Hamlet, which plays around with the same concepts. At 2B, we want to make sure that we answer these questions up through box number 36. Actions and events, okay? So that will be a part of our work. Of course, we can already point out at 2B as well, the use of humor and irony as being central to this cutting. At 3A, what do you want to do to write down some kind of text that's similar? I already mentioned Hamlet. For you, it might be, a text that mentions the abominable snowman, the classic children's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon comes to mind that maybe some of you saw as children. What is the text for you that displays this tension between an absent parent and a child trying to deal with that absent parent, and the ways in which that is a compelling issue? And finally, at 3B, in your life, when were you ever displaced from a parent or from the adult in your life who tends to you or tended to you? And how did you get through that experience? It might have been, for example, in a situation of divorce or death where your parent had to leave, and it might have been a long journey where your parent went away. Of course, long journey is where we'll end, and jump back up to 3A really quickly. Notice one more time how we're playing around with that ancient Odysseus motif, the idea of someone going on a long journey. We now will turn to prepare for our study of Sophocles' Antigone, and we'll be looking at that classic tragedy. Thank you.